I want to talk a little bit about the college football playoff projections. As I have written them down, they'll be live on foxsports.com where you can read them and give me your insight. But you know what? I'm going to put y'all on game right quick. I'm going to put y'all on a little bit ahead. I'm going to tell you about my top 25, tell you a little bit about what I think is projected to happen if everything stays the same, right? It won't, but this is what we got right now. So the 12 seeded teams as I see them right now be Oregon at 1, Big Ten champion, best team in college football, undefeated. Georgia at 2, got a loss to Alabama, right? But also feels like the team that's going to win the SEC championship. Miami at number 3, they're undefeated, but it's soft undefeated, right? Do I think Clemson could beat them? Probably. Not sure that Miami wouldn't lose to Pitt or SMU for that matter, and both of those teams are still in this thing as well, right? You got Iowa State at 4, but that's because I know more about what Matt Campbell's Iowa State football team is going to look like than I do Kalani Sitake's BYU team is going to look like in the Big 12 later on, right? I've seen what Matt Campbell's program is capable of. Matt Campbell, by the way, also ought to be in somebody's conversation for Coach of the Year. They're about to go 8-0, or they can go 8-0 for the first time in school history. And this is a man who won the first major bowl game at Iowa State just 4 years ago with Breece Hall, Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? That was 2020. They beat Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl. Ohio State, I got 5, runner-up in the Big Ten championship as it seems today, right, based on what we have seen and what outcomes we can project based on what we already know. Penn State at number 6, one of the 12 best teams in the sport today. We'll see if that's still true on Sunday. Texas, number 7, getting the short end of the stick for beating Vanderbilt on the road. Check this out, man. You lose to Georgia, okay, best team in the SEC, number 2 team in the country, and you take the one loss. You go to Vanderbilt, who is a top 25 team, you beat Vanderbilt on the road, and you see Miami leapfrog you in the AP rankings because they beat, and I quote, 1-7 Florida State. If you Texas feel some kind of way about that, you should. Clemson at 8 here. They got the loss to Georgia, like Texas, but they have been sunning everybody else they played. BYU's undefeated, right? Still ain't played anybody past Kansas State that we really think is really good, but still undefeated. A&M at number 10, which is already interesting, right? A&M's going to play South Carolina team that's capable of winning every game they play, losing every game they play. I don't know who's going to win in that game in Columbia on Saturday, but I do know this. I'm going to be paying attention because both A&M and South Carolina look like they can't wait for a rock fight. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee at number 11, they get back into it this week, and they got a match up with Georgia that I can't wait for. And then Boise State feels like the highest-ranked Group of 5 champion, but I'm also adding here, Navy ought to be in somebody's top 25 ahead of Wazoo. Why? Wazoo's loss is to Boise State. Wazoo's best win is Washington. Navy beat Memphis. Memphis is 7-1. Memphis and Navy could play in the AAC championship game. Okay? Think about that. Do you think that Navy is a better football team than Boise State? I don't know. Is Ashton Jeanty that much more important than Bryson Daly at Army? I don't think so. That's the other thing that I can't really wrap my head around when we talk about Travis Hunter. I got comparisons even this year for what Ashton Jeanty is doing at Boise State. Bryson Daly is a monster at Army, who is undefeated, by the way. Blake Horvath is a monster at Navy. They're 6-1. You got dudes that have been able to run the football, is what I'm saying, at Group of 5 programs before. Okay, a couple of them at service academies that y'all just conveniently have forgotten about altogether when we talk about Heisman Trophy winners for whatever reason. But you want to keep telling me about Ashton Jeanty. Meanwhile, Travis Hunter playing both ways, playing 100 snaps a game. Get out of my face. So the projected playoff settings right now are number 1 Oregon versus the winner of 8-9, which would be Clemson, BYU. So we probably get Oregon versus Clemson in a neutral site game. Number 2 Georgia versus the winner of number 7, number 10, which would be Texas and Texas A&M. I would love nothing else than to see Texas and Texas A&M have to play twice in the same year after refusing to play each other for a decade. That would be amazing. And then what the door prize? Georgia. Yes, I'm that petty right now because I saw myself write that down. It's like, wait, is that real? We could get Texas versus Texas A&M again versus Georgia? Give that to me. Yes, thank you. Then we got 3 seed Miami versus the 6 and 11 seed, which would be Penn State, Tennessee. Could be a decent ball game, right? I think those teams are on par with each other, Penn State and Tennessee. And then one of those teams I might pick to beat Miami, depending on what Cam Ward we get. And then number 4, Iowa State would get the winner of the 5-12 matchup, which in this case, once again, be Ohio State versus Boise State. I got to tell y'all, man, I've been saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. I would want to be the 5 seed more than I want to be any other seed in college football right now. I want to be a 5 seed. Okay? I'm going to host the 12 seed, which Boise State, Navy, Memphis, Army. I'm going to stomp them out. Then I get to play the weakest Power 4 champion, which in this case would be Iowa State, at a neutral site game. Give that to me. And then I get the number 1 seed. But by that time, number 1 seed has already had to play a game, so that bye week don't matter no more. So now if I'm Ohio State, I get Oregon again. Love that. Love that, love that, love that. So for a refresh, your 5-12 matchup, Ohio State, Boise State. Your 6-11 matchup, Penn State, Tennessee. Your 7-10 matchup, Texas versus Texas A&M. 8-9 matchup, be Clemson and BYU. I am excited about the prospect of such things happening. Really excited. Really, 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 really excited. I think we're going to see that change drastically over the next couple of weeks, but this is where we're starting from. Last thing that I want to acknowledge is a couple of overachievers and underachievers, and I probably need to do a much larger, longer segment on this, but I've said nice things about Indiana, and I was saying earlier in the year I'm going to force Indiana to make me say nice things about them, and they've done just that. They have beaten everybody they played. They are 8-0. They have a chance to be a 9-win team for just third time in their history, and they've never won 10 games. They get an opportunity to do just that, and 4 games left to play. That's a team that I had ranked, 99 out of 100 to open the season. Outstanding job by them. Army, I ranked them at 101 to start the season. They're undefeated. Vanderbilt, I ranked them behind Indiana with a win-loss total that Vegas set of 3. Top 25 program this year, right? Louisiana Monroe, I'd rank them dead last. That's a 2-loss team so far this year. And you know what? They still got a shot if Louisiana drops a game and they're able to beat Louisiana in the year to make it to the Sun Belt Championship. Florida State, precipitous, gargantuan, awful team that I thought was top 5. The AP thought was top 10. They're 1-7. The last team to start 1-6 after going undefeated the previous year was Maryland in 1956. That is the company that Florida State is keeping. Kansas, awful. I don't know exactly what went wrong, but 2-6 is going real wrong as you started out as a top 25 team, right? Michigan, top 10 team. You know what? What went wrong? Cheating. I mean, we'll say quarterback. You know, they played 3 different quarterbacks to start the season, and played 2 in the win against Michigan State. But you know what? Almost feels like if they don't have that dude cheating for them, that they not gonna be no good. I mean, Connor Stallions, undefeated. No Connor Stallions, 5-3. Mediocre in the Morton Joe sense of the word. Oklahoma, top 25 team. QB, play calling, and injuries, right? Full stop. We're supposed to win 7.5 is the win total. Might win 7 if they're lucky, right? Maine gets you to 5-4. And then you got to find wins against Bama, LSU, Missouri. Whatever. Oklahoma State, awful. What went wrong? Everything. Everything. Like, we're going to say QB because QB can fix a lot of your ills if he's good. But I don't know how to fix an offensive line return all 5 starters from last year and the tailback that, you know, was the best tailback in football, best offensive line, you know, rushing football last year. And they just cheeks this year. I don't know what's going on over there for Mike Gundy. And he's headbutting cows. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but a week ago, Mike Gundy needed to zoom into his media teleconference because he lost a headbutting match with a cow. His face wasn't one that he wanted to put on video. He said that, not me. SC, top 25 team. I don't know what went wrong, which means that's probably the head coach because Miller Moss doesn't look any worse than he did last year. Doesn't look much better either, but, you know, they also have some clock management issues and some play calling selections that you might say questionable. But it's Lincoln Riley, so we give everybody the pass over there, except they're 4-4 now. So, we'll see. Utah, also awful, but quarterback, right? Cam Rising's been hurt for 2 years now. That's what it basically is, right? Isaac Wilson might not be that dude. Andy Ludwig said, I'll retire. Offense coordinator, middle of the season, said, I'll retire. That's where they're at. Probably need to do a little bit more exhaustive in that list and give that a little bit more thought, but I just wanted to write those things down and give those to you as we're talking. Coming up on 45 minutes with this here thing. Yeah, it's 15 minutes more than I thought I was going to give tonight. So we're going to call it there. If you like the #1 college football show, please subscribe to the channel. We just went over 115,000 subscribers last week. Probably need to get to 116,000 subscribers this week. And as soon as we start doing playoff selection committee rankings, we will probably be live doing those as well. And I will see y'all on Monday. Till then, get some good sleep, right? Hit the work tomorrow. And if you won, crow about it. If you lost, tell everybody don't talk to me. Doses.